All right, we'll give it another minute or so here, a couple seconds, and I think we are live. All right, hi everybody. Welcome, welcome. And look who I've got. This is the wonderful Mitchell Osborn, who is a psychic medium, animal communicator. He does it all. And I'm really happy to have him back on my channel. It's been a long time. So he might be a new face to a lot of you guys, but we've known each other for a couple of years. And he is an awesome person. And just happy to have you. So welcome, Mitch.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me good? Because I think I had both my volumes on. It was in my ear, so I want to make sure I'm good with you all.
I can hear you perfect. Yes.
Perfect. It's been a minute, right?
Yes, it has been. But
And
thank you.
we've definitely been chatting and hanging out at least over 3 years, because I know it wasn't during the pandemic we connected. It was before that.
Right. I think you're right. You might be right. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a little while. So
Yes, Jay to the Aki.
Jay to the Aki is here finally. She showed up and she was about 10 minutes late, which for her is 10 minutes early actually. So I'm just kidding with her. Anyway, let's say hi to a few people. Kristen's not here, but she wanted to say hi to us. So Kristen there. This is Viviani. Hello, Viviani. Welcome. And Lady Silver is here. And Natalie is here. Hey, Natalie. And there she is.
Hey, Jackie.
Jackie. And let's see who else we got here.
And Brenda, I'm a native Floridian, so yes, I do love Florida weather. I'm a little warm here in my house, but I've got the air kicked down a little bit.
Oh, wow. Yeah. What is it like over there?
About 89 degrees, humid, hot.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. It's 54 here and it's a little too warm for me. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I moved out of Florida just in time when I got tired of the heat. So and you got your coffee and you're ready to go. Yes.
Yeah, I still drink
There's
hot
Brenda.
coffee in the middle of summer.
Gotcha. I do too, actually. So
And I can drink coffee and go straight to bed, although I'm trying to avoid doing that because I want to make sure I sleep good through the night.
right, I got you there. So caffeine does affect you some at night.
No, and when I was a child, I was a little hyperactive. I know that's hard to believe, but I remember, like, when I was 6, 7 years old, the doctor told my mother, give him coffee, because coffee is
Okay.
speed. The caffeine is speed, like Ritalin, and they didn't pass out Ritalin back in the early 70s. So, and I
Right.
probably was just a mild case of hyperactivity, but my love of coffee started when I was 6 or 7 years old.
Oh wow, that was before I think I was allowed to have it. So that's that is interesting. Let's see. Garnett, I see you're here too. Welcome. And let me see. I said hi to Sharon and a couple other people said hi to Thomas. Welcome. All right. So yeah, I'm just so excited to have Mitch here, and Mitch is going to explain a little bit about what he does, if that's okay with you, Mitch. And I'll just let you take the floor. What you do in your practice, and it's very very different. So I'd love for you to tell us about it.
Absolutely. My name is Mitch Osborn, native Floridian, live in Orlando, Florida, with my husband. We've been together over 16 years. We've got 3 cats indoor right now, and I'll talk a little bit about them probably as we go. There are a couple of cats outdoor that we kind of claim they're the orange ones. So it's interesting. We got a lot of orange males out back that are feral, but we do feed them. And even a possum and a raccoon, and some of those wander in. We're in a neighborhood, but they seem to find us, which is good. But I have a corporate job, which I adore. I've been in health and fitness since 1988, and I'm now more employee health and well-being at a big medical institution, which I get to do kind of all the things I do here, but just in a very neutral, corporate safe way, if you will, but I still get to do what I do, kind of a thing. I just, don't use the words that I would use here. And started studying everything metaphysical probably December 1999 when the world changed, came out of the closet, just started hearing books fall off the shelf, talking to me about, being a psychic. And I've always had that vibe. My mom was a big dreamer, but we didn't talk about much else. And then I think my heart, I will say, is tarot. I am a tarot reader. I read professionally and have for about 14 years now. And probably in the beginning, I'll never forget, I was teaching a class and one of my teachers was there, and I was teaching a class and I said, oh God, when I moved in with my now then boyfriend, now husband, Fabian, I was like, oh, these animals he's got. I was like, I could just see it one day on my business card, psychic, pet psychic, and be careful what you say. And it's not that I didn't want to do pet readings and stuff like that, but it's like I wanted to read people. I wanted to be like, Lisa Williams. She was like my favorite one on TV. John Edwards, another one. I wanted to do the mediumship stuff, and I love the mediumship stuff, and it comes in very handy. It's not the main thing I do. As in, when I went through a week-long intensive course with James Van Praagh, I went away thinking, okay, I can do this. I feel comfortable, but I don't want to be a grief counselor in the sense, because it's like so many people come to them, someone has passed away and they're just grief stricken over it. And that's just not where my place was. And I kind of knew it. I often work with people who are very spiritual. They understand the cycles of life and they want to often take their journey next level. So I get a lot of, already a lot of people already in this world of reading tarot, of psychic, of mediumship. And then with the animals, started just doing that more and more. And I don't say this lightly, and I don't say this often ever in my life, but it kind of came very easy and natural to me. And the reason the reason I even say that out loud is because I still didn't want to do it so much. It's like I didn't want to put it on my website. If an animal came in, I did it. I am a Pisces, Brenda. Absolutely, I'm a pie baby. If you know what that is, does anybody know what a pie baby is?
I don't.
So, what is pie? Do you know what pie? Not the food the one you eat, but the more technical one.
Oh, you're asking me a math question? No.
Yes, yeah, it's like the square root of what is it? The square root of a circle diameter.
Yeah, something
It's
like that.
the
Right.
It's the numerological aspect of it. So it's
Okay.
3.14. So it's the
Oh,
3.14596. It's goes to infinity. So March
gotcha.
14th. I'm born on the 14th. Me and Einstein. I'm just saying. Just saying. Me and Einstein. Um, so so just really started doing that, and probably about 40 to 50% of the clients that come to me now is animal communication. And what typically happens in an animal communication session, someone will purchase it. I do everything pretty much live with the animals. I'm not in person with the animals. I have done it that way, especially horses. I've been invited to a horse farm many times here in Florida. Not a farm, a ranch. You can tell I'm not a horse person. And I love it when I'm out there. They're saying things, technical terms. I'm like, I don't know what that means, but here's what I feel. And yeah, so someone will purchase a session, and I get a photograph of the animal. And I used to not ask if it was alive or crossed over, male or female. I started asking that because I also realized, and this is kind of a lesson. You'll notice I teach with stories. Most of the time I was saying she, and they would be like, oh, it's a male. I'm like, finally I learned when I feel male, masculine energy, it's probably a female. When I felt feminine, female energy, it's probably a male. And I used to think, why is that? And my first thought was, have you ever messed with the mama bear, a mama lion, a mama cat? Don't mess with mama, because mama is absolutely masculine. She will rip you apart. And
Right.
then, think of a male lion. They just sit on their butt all day long while the females go hunt. But then I dug a little deeper, and over the years, I realized I feel like they have a much better balance of their masculine and feminine than we as humans do. So I feel like because I'm feeling feminine and they might be a male dog, I'm getting the balance of it, and that's maybe
Love
where they
that.
kind of project it. But it was kind of a neat experience. But anyway, so before I call the client, I sit down 5-10 minutes before with the picture. And I have some sample questions, but oftentimes I just allow the animals to, quote, talk and give me information. You said owned a horse and cousin was a jockey that won the Queen's. Wow, very interesting. That's neat. But yeah, and I just kind of like, I usually have about a half a page to a page of information that when I finally do get the client on the phone, I say, I set a very clear intention. And it's kind of my way of getting started. And then I just say, I'm going to go over the information I got. Whatever makes sense, let me know. What doesn't make sense, let me know. And then I'll dig deeper into that, because that's probably something that we need to figure out. And then that's probably half the session. And then the other half, they get to ask any specific questions that I did not already go over or mention. And yeah, and that's kind of how I work with the animals. So it's been a lot of fun. And then we were talking beforehand. I'm a big fan with Bernadette King. She
Yes.
lives about an hour and a half north of me here. I was telling Scott, we know each other personal. We've not been in each other's presence yet, but for probably it's probably about 2 years before this came out, we were connecting over stuff, and we had probably passed each other in our corporate lives. I was an actor and model in Central Florida for 21 years, and she was casting and directing and stuff like that. So I'm surprised we knew a lot of the same people, but we didn't connect with each other at that time. So it's kind of interesting that years later we're doing it. And if you know her, she talks about her being Mama Bear, and the name Bernadette is like from the word bear. I looked up my names. My last name, Osborn, means bear god.
Oh wow.
And I'm not drawn to bears as like a power totem or spirit animal so much. My first name means who is like the Lord, Mitchell. It's a derivative of Michael. And then my middle name, William, I have to look it up what it means. But yeah, it's just kind of funny what the name. I love names and I love numerology, so I'm into all of that stuff as well. So yeah, so there's my story.
That's awesome. Yeah, and you know, those of you who are in the chat and have been with me for a while know about the power animals and how I do that. And I did it off of that deck, the Ark, and I had no idea that you knew her or even had that deck or anything. And when Mitch came on, a few minutes early, he said, we could talk about spirit, totem, power animals, and I was wondering if it was going to line up, and then it turns out that we believe the same way about them because I got it out of Bernadette King's book that, learning about the totem and the power and the spirit animals. So did you want to say anything about those, about how that works?
And yeah, and for me, again, we're probably speaking the same language, but a spirit animal, I always say a spirit animal is typically one that just comes in for a drive-by message. Like it's a boom, boom, give you a message. A totem animal is one that either has been with you for a long time, you're drawn to, or shows up and is going to be around a long time. It's very connected to you, maybe your ancestors, your family. A power animal is one that may show up saying, hey, utilize some of my energy, my strength, my characteristics. Or if you've got an important meeting where you need to deliver a powerful message, maybe call on Hawk. Maybe if you need to scout out new territory for your business, call on Eagle to get that high bird's eye view. If you are trying to hunker down because it's crazy world out there, maybe tap into Mama Bear and do a little hibernation time. But the biggest thing I will say is because animals are crossing our paths all day long. And a good example is, and this is funny. I did like a reverse reading. I was walking around my lake here in Central Florida, Lake Orlando happens to be. Hey, kitty. I was walking around and I was like, who would I like to see? Who would I like to see? And I love reptiles. We see snakes and gators and birds. And I thought, you know what? I would really love to see a snake on my walk today. And I didn't. I put the intention out there. I didn't see the snake. The next day, I'm seeing our cat, who looks very similar to one you just held up, kind of this creamy, what's it, like a corksicle, orange and white.
Right.
And he's looking in the pool. The outdoor cat, and he's looking in the pool. And I'm seeing water movement in the pool. I'm like, uh-oh, something's in the pool. I go out in there. It's like a little black racer. So literally, I was like, I would love to see you, and they showed up in our pool. I can count. I don't think we've had but one other snake in this. Maybe I don't even know if we had a snake in this pool before. Frogs, possums, yeah. But yeah, so it was really interesting that I reversed it. Like it's like I would love for you to show up in my life rather than you show up and me wonder what's going on. But yeah, so it's really kind of neat them showing up.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah.
And
And
what was the name of Kitty?
that is Sunny. That's the one that
Sunny.
has some behavioral issues, and everybody in chat knows about it. And I know Lady Silver was saying that she wanted to, have you maybe make him behave because he's been he's been hanging off of the tapestry. He's been doing all kinds of other things off camera, but he is a good cat. He's very, very lovable, and he was feral as well. I got him when he was about 3 months old, and he's very, very tame, but he's just into absolutely everything. And I can't even have half of my stuff up anymore. He just knocks stuff down. He wants to destroy things, and it's just on a regular basis. And last night he knocked off my rose quartz off of my desk. Can't find it anywhere. It's just a constant struggle with him. And I'm like, is this an outdoor cat? Does he need to be outdoors? Maybe he just doesn't like the confinement and he's just going to destroy everything, but he'll sit on my lap for hours and just let me pet him. And he's the sweetest can be. But I was going to mention that because, look here. Brenda knows Sunny is needy. He wants to have your attention at all times. Yeah.
So, and I did kind of ask Scott beforehand, so I'll ask you again so everybody can hear me. Are you okay with me kind of tapping into his energy and kind of do a little reading? I'm also going to do a little teaching.
Absolutely.
So let me do the teaching first. So anytime, first of all, before you bring an animal into your house, I would check with anybody, any other human, any other animals, let everybody know there's a new being coming in or there's a possibility. See if everybody's on board. That way we're going to have a conducive environment. When animals come in and there's already existing animals or other humans, it's like you're adding another ingredient to a recipe, so it's going to change the outcome somehow. So, realize that there are going to be some changes. Prepare everybody, have a plan to bring them into the house. And then probably one of the biggest things for behavioral issues is make sure that the animals have a job or a role, ROLE, a role in the household. My joke is, it may sound like it would be fun to be an animal, just sit around all day, eat and sleep, and have your food and pee and poop, and somebody clean it up for you. I mean, it may sound fun, but they truly come here to help us. They are part of our soul family, soul connection, or they're a new soul coming into our family. So give them a job, a role. So I tell you, if animals will sit on your lap and they're very touching, chances are that's probably someone who's going to be kind of healing. They all do some kind of form of healing, I believe, in some way, shape, or form. Some good examples like Sebastian, our flame point Himalayan, he is comic relief. He looks like a grumpy old man, smashed face. His role is to bring comic relief into the house. Toby, years ago, that a cat we had was very particular. It took me almost 2 years before I could pick him up. He would kind of swat at me, hiss at me. And he was a cleaner. He would clean Sheldon, our dachshund, lick him head to toe. So I was like, Toby, your job is to keep all the animals clean, and when Sebastian came into our house, because he's a Himalayan, we cleaned the goop around his eyes. And a couple months into it, I was like, let me put my money where my mouth is. And I was like, Toby, listen, daddies are tired of cleaning Sebastian's eyes every 2 or 3 days. So we need you to step up the game here and clean his eyes. And we both stopped cleaning him with these little round things. They look like makeup removers. They're probably for cats, which is it's getting his drag makeup off. And so probably within 2 months, I was like, Fabian, are you cleaning Sebastian's eyes? And he said, no, I'm not. I said, okay, somebody's doing it. Because they can't really clean their eyes very well because they're so gooped up. And it took me about 3 months before I caught Toby licking his eyes and cleaning them. Now, and Toby's, that was his role, that was his job. The cool thing is each animal that's come in, it's become very apparent real fast what their job, their role. When Santiago and his brother Stefano came in, they're little kittens. They're a little over 2 years old. Santiago, all black. Stefano, black and white tuxedo. Santiago is heavier than his little brother, and they, get the same stuff. So for me, that was like Santiago's more grounding. He is more loving. He's the one that sits on my chest and purrs and rubs against my beard. Stefano, white paws. When he goes through the house, it looks like he's not even touching the ground because the little white paws. It looks like he's, what's her name from Xanadu? Roller skating around the house because he's just so, Olivia Newton-John, he's just so smooth. He's a healer. He is moving the energy through our house. He is a feng shui expert and knows how to move the energy through our house. So that's his role. That's his job. When Tiffany, our Pomeranian, was here, her job was to alert us, let us know what's going on, to get us moving, because Pomeranians just never stop. So with Sunny, my first thought is, yes, when Sunny's trying to get your attention, maybe it's time for you to slow down, be mindful, because there's nothing more mindful than pausing and petting an animal. That's safe, if you don't want to pet a bear or a snake. But to sit in that moment and pet them and just be curiouser and curiouser of them, watch them, listen to them, feel them. So sitting there in that moment can help you kind of break away from a lot of the nervous anxiousness of the future, which is the worry, the fear, or the sadness, depression from the past, which is where we should have, think we should have, could have, would have done something different, but bring you into that present moment. And there's an amazing book called Peditation. I did not coin the phrase. I wish I had him, but basically it's being mindful and meditating with your animals. And then you said something else that my first thought was, this is one thing. I think you said it this way. You said, oh, and Sonny is into everything. And I'm like, So this is probably where he might be mirroring, and I'm saying it is a boy, right?
It is
Male?
a boy, yeah. I actually had two, but Sonny's the oldest.
So I would say, he might be mirroring you. And where are you? I think you're kind of into everything. Especially in the world we're talking about here. You probably got crystals and stones and books and cards and, so you probably love learning and studying. So is it a bad thing you're into everything? Is this Sonny's way of saying, hey, master one thing at a time before you move on? Is it him saying, watch your finances? This is where you want to figure out what resonates with you. But a lot of times they will mirror and reflect what's going on in our lives to show us. And so very seldom do I see them role modeling what we should do. Like one time their dog just became very lethargic and slept a lot. And I said, what's going on in your life? They're like, I can't stop. I can't sit still. Okay, so this dog is imploring you to chill, to relax, to take care of yourself. And oftentimes when we make those little adjustments, the animals will as well. But giving them a job is one of the best things to do, because it can really make some difference in the behavior that we may not want at that time. And then also just seeing, how can this reflect what's going on in my own life? And, kind of make the adjustments yourself.
That's interesting. I've never heard that or thought about that or anything. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a younger one, and I actually bought or got him from the pound and rescued him, because I'm only supposed to have one in the apartment. But I got the second one because Sonny was just into absolutely everything. So I thought, well, maybe this will take his mind off of it, and he'll, be more attentive of the other cat. And they love each other. They get along great. And it helped for about 2 months. And then Sonny just started getting into everything all over again. So it's like that fun kind of wore off, because Milo just kind of, don't want to, don't want to be bit, don't want to be running around the household with you all the time. So I'm going to lay right here. And he's just, very easy going. And Sonny's the exact opposite. So it's an interesting dynamic that we have. Then Milo won't bother any of my stuff. He won't do anything like that. He wants to sleep with me at night and cuddle. And Sonny doesn't want to do hardly anything except for just walk on things and knock things down. So
I'm reading what Jackie's saying. And another thing that we humans can do Again, tell a story. So let's say you adopt a little Chihuahua, and when you adopted it, the people you adopted the Chihuahua from says, "Oh, this dog does not like tall men." So there's a story, there's a narrative. You bring that dog in, you don't even think about it, but all of a sudden one day a tall man comes in, and all of a sudden the dog is like fighting that tall man. Oh, that's right, he doesn't like tall men. So we continue to support a story or a narrative that may or may not be true.
Right.
So what I encourage people to do is flip the story around, and have the conversation with the animal, with the Chihuahua. Say, listen, maybe there was a time you had a one tall man you didn't like. I don't know if it's something you just don't like, period. But listen, we've got this tall man and this tall man. They're going to come in, and I would love for you, and visualize this. I would love for you when they come in, for you to be kind and sit in their lap and let them pet you. So you're visualizing all the things you want to happen, rather than holding on to what you're afraid is going to happen. Another great example is, you've got two cats, Scott. So let's say you see, was it Milo and Sunny? They're walking in the room, and all of a sudden they get in a terrible fight, and you're like, "Stop it, quit!" And then they run away. The next day you see them walking in the room again, and what do you immediately think? Oh my gosh, are they going to get into a fight like they did yesterday? So the image you're holding in your head is of the fight yesterday. And I've seen the animals almost go, "So do you want us to do what we did yesterday? Is that what you're telling me to do?" Because that's what I see. I'm seeing the image, the movie that you're sending me. Okay, we'll do it. So flip it on its head. So when you see them walking in, and you want to practice this before it happens, just say, "You know what? All right, Milo and Sunny, I love that you two get along with each other. Milo, your job is move the energy around the house. Your job is to play. Sunny, your job is to tidy things up. Your job is to heal all of us in here physically and mentally and emotionally. And you guys are so good together. You sleep together, you eat out of the same bowl." So the whole time you're saying these words, you're visualizing the positive outcome and desired outcome that you want to happen. And what I encourage people to do is practice this. And how you can practice this, let's say you're sitting in a room and none of your animals are in the room with you. You're completely still, you're completely quiet. And let's say you have three cats, a black cat, a white cat, and a tuxedo cat. Think to yourself, okay, black cat, whatever your name is, you're just thinking this. I want you to get up right now, and I want you to walk into the room with me, and just visualize that one particular cat getting up and walking into the room and visiting you. And just visualize it. Don't move, don't make a sound, don't do anything, and see if you can't send that telepathic message to them, and see how long that happens. I practice it, and it still blows my mind. Like I was, on my phone, I was trying to, do some business, and I put the phone down, I hugged Santiago, and then I put my hands down and I said, "Santiago, I love you." I said, "But I need to get back to a little bit of work. Can you," and I'm visualizing this, not saying it out loud. I said, "I want you to go to the corner of the bed and just sit there until I'm finished, and I love you again." Within about 30 seconds to a minute, he got up, walked to the corner of the bed, and just sat there. So I just visualized that. Dogs will often do it quicker. Cats will take a little bit longer because they have their own mind.
Yeah, very independent. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't mind a question, I have
I
one
saw
here
some, but I
from
saw some
Nancy.
flowing through.
I wanted to throw Nancy's up here too, and I've got a part two of this as well. But had a question for you. I like the FIR. My husband's dog, Truffle Britches, was next to him constantly. My husband had a long, difficult illness, and her husband has passed away last month, I believe it was. And he said, Truffle will come and get, let's see, so that he is glued to her. She looks into his soul. Could Truffle be an empath?
And I'm reading the rest of you.
Did I miss one?
Absolutely, Nancy. Absolutely, could be. Absolutely. And an empath, if you mean someone who is very intuitive and empathic and picks up on energy, I'm going to say almost every cat is 99.9999% empathic.
Wow.
Dogs, I think, are as well, but it seems like dogs are just more earthy and grounded in their energy when I look at it and feel it. Um, Cats are more alien, and I'm talking about like alien beings, more alien, off-planet, celestial, angelic. Like they're just such higher vibrating kind of beings. Smaller dogs, I feel, often have more of the tendencies of like a cat. Bigger dogs, sometimes they're just a dog. They're like, I'm here, I'm in this world. It's like that. It's like that one person who grew up and all they ever wanted to do was play football, and they talk about football, and they never want to do anything but play football. I'm here for football. Football's my life till I die. So it's like they're just this. I'm about this physicalness. Um, and I'm trying to remember what the first part of the question was because there's something in the first part. Um, was you said was with your husband through the illness, and it could have been just understanding what was going on. I mean, you can Google this, but a cat's purr, when they're on you purring, they can increase our bone density. I mean, they literally have that this kind of cool power. So they're all animals are just amazing if we allow them to be that. So absolutely, I feel like they could be. Um, Linda, yeah, yeah. Parrot. I had a parrot for a short period of time, and it was beyond my scope. This is years ago when I didn't know what I was doing. But yeah, birds. Period. These winged creatures are just from another world. Most birds are very messenger-like. They're very high vibrational. They're like swords energy. So everything air element is what I feel like they are.
Nancy had another comment. Said she's a different dog. She was neurotic before, and now she's angelic. She's a Chihuahua.
And before what would be my question, because there could have been a big shift. Um, a lot of times our teachers show up when we need to learn a lesson, and once we get the lesson, the teacher's gone. With animals, it's not like they're going to leave our house, but they do sometimes as well. They pass on, they find another journey, they cross over the Rainbow Bridge, but a lot of times they'll just move to another lesson. I do know that sometimes when like we had and it was funny because it was two Pomeranians. Lovita was Fabian's dog from like birth, and there was a lot of stuff that we were learning and growing. And when she passed, we about 2 years later we brought in a 9-year-old stray Pomeranian that literally picked up the gauntlet, picked up the what do you call that the baton, and kept working on some of the same lessons. Some of the same behaviors started popping up. And then if anybody ever wonders. If animals let me say it this way, there's something I call overlay, and it started, I use that term, and I've heard other people use different terms, but I remember several years ago at Reader Studio conference in New York. It was a big tarot conference. This woman said, you're busy, but can you look at this picture real quick? I said, sure. So it was big, like Labrador, Golden Retriever, and it was a dog. And I said, oh my gosh, I get so much grandfather energy here. I said, do you have a small child? She goes, yeah, I got a child, like 6 or 7 years old. And I kept seeing like her father, the child's grandfather, and the child, I kept seeing them missing each other. And I was like, did your father pass before your child was born? Because I'm seeing them cross like off planet. She goes, yes. I said, the reason I think I'm feeling so much grandfather energy, I feel like his energy is overlaying on the dog, not possessing, not transferring, not reincarnated into the dog because the dog was older. But I said, but it's like he's visiting through the dog to his grandson that he never felt physically. He passed him, energetically. And it made a lot of sense to her because I just kept looking at the dog's eyes. I'm like, I just get so much grandfather energy with this dog. And she did say that the dog is attached to her son. So there was like, he sleeps with him, et cetera, et cetera. So there was a lot going on there. But I see the overlay every once in a while. Like I felt Lovita, the previous Pomeranian, overlay in the new Pomeranian, which they were live at the same time. So it wasn't like reincarnation, but I felt like her energy overlaying too, which is kind of neat.
Wow. Brenda said she owned cockatoos and budgies in the past, and they are needy too and can be very affectionate. So,
yeah. Yeah, birds are a different, just a different world. I think I've had a few. I think I've had a few clients that were birds, not too many.
Not too many.
I was a person, and I encounter birds all the time on my walk and stuff. But we have a screened-in pool area, and it's a very high pitch. And one night there was a little screech owl in there, and it couldn't get out. And of course, it's going to keep flying up to get away from us. Well, my husband grabs a ladder, and I'm like, by the time you climb up the ladder, he's going to fly to another place. This isn't going to work. And you're going to put a hole in the screen. So I said, listen, I need you to just go over there, stay calm, let me do something. So I went to one of the screen doors and I propped it open, and I just looked up at this little owl and I said, listen, I said, we're here to help you. I said, but we can't get to you and you're afraid of us. I said, and I visualized and I said, this door is open and this is your way out of this trapped in area. I said, there's a pool we don't want you to drown in. There are feral cats that come in and out. We don't want one to attack you. I said, so I want you to fly down and out that door. And I just kept holding the image of him flying down, out the door, flying down, out the door. And again, I do this work, but it still freaks me out every once in a while. Within 3 minutes, it dropped down to the ground and went right out the door. And I was like,
Wow.
and first of all, I'm like, oh my God, thank goddess, because I'm like, how long are we going to be out here until this? Because it's like 9 o'clock at night. I'm like, we got to go to bed soon. But within a couple minutes, boom, out the door. And one time there was a snake in our backyard at the previous house. And I said, listen, I said, not everybody loves y'all. I said, if my husband sees you, he's going to cut your head off because we've got dogs back here. Even though I know you're not going to hurt them, they don't need to attack you, eat you, or anything like that. I said, so I want you to wiggle your way out that side door and find a beautiful place to live. There's lots of wooded areas around here. And I literally saw the snake wiggle out the door and never saw him again. So I'm like, hopefully he found a better place to exist.
Wow, that's really interesting. I thought this was interesting too. Hi, Miss Moonlight. I don't know if this said hi to you. The purr is self-healing for the cat, and we get the benefits. So the happier you make your cat, the healthier you both are. I thought that was,
Yay! That's beautiful.
yeah, definitely. And let's see, got one here. This might be a vet question. I'm not sure. Let you look at that one here.
So, and of course, most of y'all are going to say, "Oh, I know why you're saying that." But my first is I'm not a veterinarian. Please consult your doctor. But what I would say when there's an eye issue, I would say, was that Amanda? First thought is Amanda. You know, how are you? How are your eyes? It's so funny. I just went to my ophthalmologist the other day, and we're trying a new pair of contacts. And he's like, "Do you stare at the screen all day?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Do you have dry eyes?" I'm like, "No, not really." And he says, "Most people have dry eyes because their eyes are open." So, how are your eyes? Are they dry? Are you staring too much at the screen? Do you need to put on, some glasses when you're outside? Check into your own vision or those that are near and dear to Jack, and see if anybody's got some eye issues, because this could be where the dog is reflecting back something going on in our lives. I'll never
Wow.
forget. I had like a little precancerous thing on my ear, and they cut it off. And before that, there was like something on Tiffany, one of our dogs, right here on the chest. And like somewhere after that, we cut it off. And one day I was just like, oh my gosh, she was showing me that. So what I tell people, if an animal demonstrates something that you feel might be because of you, they're showing it because of you or a family member, then just kind of say, listen, thank you, whoever, Jack, whatever the name of the dog was, thank you so much for showing this to us. We hear you, we see you. You can stop showing us. We're going to take care of it. And then try to take care of it. Oh, you just ordered new glasses. Okay, so then
Wow.
Amanda, maybe let the animal know. Say, hey, thank you for showing that to me. We're going to get you checked up. I just got checked up, so it could be just something where it could kind of clear up on their own. But definitely, this is where I got to say, take them to your vet. Make sure the vet gives it a thumbs up and everything like that. Like
Awesome.
another cool lesson, when Stefano and Santiago came in as kittens, they were, and if you guys want to, whenever there's tragedy in the world, I don't give to people, I give to animal things. So Liberation Cat House on Instagram is where I give money to. That's an Orlando-based place. The Sato Project, Sato, which is kind of a slang Puerto Rican word for dog. It's like a mutt. But the Sato Project, they rescue dogs from the Dead Dog Beach in Puerto Rico, bring them back to the U.S. and rehome them. So these are the projects where I give money to, like especially when like Irma and Maria came through. That's where I donate to the animals, because not a lot of people do. So when Stefano and Santiago came into the house, Stefano immediately got a urinary tract infection. And one of my friends, who is her Instagram handle is the Fulfilled Feline. Of course, I was in a state of panic because it's pretty tough and pretty traumatic, and you have to do a lot to help them through it. But she said, Mitch, she said, I know I'm preaching to the choir. It's base chakra stuff. So what's going on with you? What's going on with your husband? What's going on? Where is their base chakra? And I do EFT tapping, and you can tap on the animals. You can tap as a circuit for the animals. So I was tapping up for them. I was tapping on myself, doing Reiki, Reiki 2 level here. So worked our way through that, and it was definitely something that animal was kind of showing back. You need to be grounded, and also the animal's coming into a brand new house. So is this my forever home? Is this my tribe? So this poor cat, so I had to keep reiterating, you're here, you're not going anywhere. This is your place. Don't fear. You can let go, you can release whatever any of that fear is especially in your base chakra. So it was really cool, kind of a moment, even though it was challenging for me.
I bet. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Well, that's really awesome. Let's see. I thought this was interesting too. And then someone said something about a dog can, I think it might have been Brenda, said a dog can smell out cancer. And they can be taught how to do that. I thought that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Not
And
how to detect it in somebody.
One of my friends years ago, she's still alive. She was probably in her late 20s, early 30s. She's a dog lover, rescuer, and everything. And one dog just kept nudging her in the breast, one specific dog. And finally, she's like, okay, I'll go get something checked out. Sure enough, breast cancer. She had to have, I don't think she had a mastectomy, but she had, an operation to remove something. Chemo, I think was her what she had to do, and literally the dog probably saved her life. Now, this is not always the case, but that dog, probably 3 to 6 months after everything was taken care of, that dog did pass away from cancer. So it was really interesting.
Wow.
Where that dog wasn't doing this work then, but that dog probably took it on. I mean, that was probably their role in her life, was to kind of take it on, to help, to remove, to heal. There could have been a different outcome if maybe they did things differently spiritually. I don't know, because it was so far ago. But it was really, really wild. But yeah, they know body changes, just like an intuitive, like I'll never forget. I was deep in the Nazarene church, and I walked up to the youth minister daughter, and I was like, and I never say this, but I was like, "Are you pregnant?" And she was a thin woman, and she goes, "No, I'm not pregnant." And it's just because I'm like drawn to her belly, and I've done this probably 5-10 times, but I learned not to say anything anymore. She's like, "No, I'm not pregnant." 2 weeks later, from the pulpit, the pastor was announcing, "Oh, we've got a new baby coming." I remember looking at her across the auditorium, and she's like, she didn't even know. At the time I said
Wow.
something, she did not even know she was pregnant. So I'm saying that because just like the cats and the dogs, it's also my mind is drawn to their belly. I'm like, why am I being drawn to the belly? It's like I recognize another energy there. And that's what I think they're recognizing, and they're probably smelling and realizing. And like someone said, the cats can see the change in energy. Most cats, actually, I get this with babies too. Babies will look at me, and then all of a sudden they look like about a foot above my head. They're looking at me like this, and all of a sudden they're like looking above my head, and I'm like, I know what you're looking at. You can see all that freaking energy going off over my head.
Wow. That's awesome. Well, if anybody has a question or two, we could probably squeeze it in here for Mitch. Just let us know, and use emojis if you would, you guys. We might not be able to get to everybody, but we have about 15 minutes left, so if get a couple questions here, I think that would be all right. So go ahead and ask those, and like I said, please put those in emojis and caps so I can see them and throw them for you. I don't know if is Sage Burner still here. She had a question, or they had a question as well that I starred, but I didn't have a chance to let them know. So Sage Burner, let me know if you're still here, and I'll get your question up for Mitch that you had. I haven't seen him in a little bit here. So
Jackie, you're welcome. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.
Okay, are you going to pull the question up?
Yeah, I'm looking right now. See if they're still here. We can just go ahead and pull it. Sure.
All right. So why is your cat Snugglepuss so fearful? My first question is, are you or anybody else in your household living in fear of anything that's going on? How's work? We just been through crazy pandemic. Some people still dealing with a lot of that stuff. Did it happen? When did it happen? Did something shift or change within the house? And I keep seeing like someone moving out. So did someone leave the house, like a child go off to college or something? So let me know some of that, Sage Burner. And then you say, what can I do to help him understand he is safe and loved? And communicate that to him, but more importantly, make sure you feel, and if there's any other humans, you feel safe and loved in the house. And if you're not feeling safe and loved, if there's a relationship and it's not good and you don't feel safe and you feel unloved, then the cat could be going like, you listen, something's got to change, and this is where you can work with their energy to kind of figure it out. You said it took 8 years to get him to the vet and he does not need to go again. Gotcha. I understand that. And I'm pausing because I'm tapping into your energy, or if anybody else is fearful of doctors, because not a lot of people want to go to doctors, and I get that. You wonder why the animals don't want to go, because we humans don't want to go. But I don't feel like that's the issue. So Sage Burner, no children. I keep feeling like somebody else left. I don't know if there's another animal or something. Or maybe you said 8 years, so they've been with you for 8 years. And Sage Burner, this is totally going off of what I'm feeling, but more connected with spirit. Make sure Snugglepuss knows that you're not going anywhere. You're here. You're not leaving him either. You're saying, make him understand he's safe and loved, but also that you're not going to go anywhere. And Sage Burner, I hope your health is in a great place and you're in a good place like that. So let them know that you're healthy, you're here, you're not going anywhere. And then make sure Snugglepuss has a job, a role in your life. If it's for companionship, great. If it's for healing, do it. If it's for, I'm in Florida. If it's for killing roaches and spiders and bugs in your house, that's one of Toby's job when he was here, to get them and get rid of them. So yeah. So Sage Burner, you had some pets pass on that oh my gosh, what was it? Snagglepuss knew. So that could be part of it. And what if that's the case, like if Snagglepuss knew some of these animals that passed on, then I would invite those animals that passed on, invite their energy back in to, cohabitate, to mingle with, to work with, and let Snagglepuss, it's okay to connect with those that have passed on. It's so funny. Because the reason I'm saying it's so funny is because I'm like, why isn't Snagglepuss connecting himself? It's almost like he was told not to. You know how many of us as children, we were told, no, there's nobody invisible over it. There's no ghost in your room. There's nobody you're talking to. It's all in your head. It's almost like Snagglepuss was told, no, you're imagining things. So give him permission to connect to the other side. That's a weird one. And maybe that's what you need to do too. I don't know if Sage Burner, I don't know how are you a psychic, a medium? Do you embrace those gifts? Are you needing to connect to the other side? See how this I go down the rabbit hole? And Sage Burner, you said he doesn't like to be picked up. Let's just be honest. Some cats just know it's not their thing. And the energy and image that I get of cats, like Stefano's, he'll let me pick him up, but within 10 seconds, he wants to be put down. What it feels like to me, as a small child, when I was 6 years old and I had to lay down at daycare at 3:00 nap time as a hyperactive kid, it was torture. It was torture to have to sit still. It's literally like put me in a straitjacket. So a lot of times that's what it feels like for animals when they're picked up. It's like you are confining their energy, but then more importantly, they're picking up on all of your stuff. So if you're not like Buddhist, monk material where you're peace and calm and all zen, then they're going to pick up on any little bit of stuff you've got going on. And it may not be the most pleasant for them to be held like that.
Let me throw this one up here. This is Viviani. I'll let you read that there.
So my cat Charlie, former Irwin. Oh, I'm glad you said that. Names mean something. If you ever feel like your cat or dog or animal wants a different name, just check in. The first thing I would say is put the existing name into a numerology calculator and see what the number comes up. Does it fit in with the household? And then if you're drawn to another name, put that name into the numerology calculator and see how that number feels. If this cat is all over the place and the number is a 5, 5 is moving, shifting, changing. If you need the cat to be more calm and centered, and the new name is a 4, that's going to be grounded, more calm, more centered. So names mean a lot. So be conscious of that. And dogs oftentimes is a little harder for them to shift names. Cats, it's usually easier. But also, you know, how many times do we call, like Bartolomeo is our cat. He had 5 different names: Bart, Barty, Bartolomeo. We call them all these different names. So they adjust to nicknames and stuff too. So be conscious. If you got a cat named Killer and it's a vicious cat, maybe change the name to Love Bucket. I mean, be serious. We talked about my name in the beginning and what it means. So you said, Charlie often annoys your female cat, Somerset, and Joni. He starts playing but gets in their face when they want time alone. What can I do to help? I would have a conversation with all of them and say, listen, Somerset, Joni, maybe take turns playing with Charlie. But then also, is there somebody else that can play with Charlie? If he's like a kitten and they're older, then that could be just kind of like instinctual behavioralistic type stuff, which might be more challenging. But see if Somerset and Joni can like take turns entertaining him. It's almost like 2 parents watching a newborn, and someone's got to take care of him, feed him, bathe him, change him, and you maybe have a schedule. But then also maybe find Charlie a job that's not to annoy the other cats, but maybe it's to protect them, watch over them. Just find something that's natural. This is if a lot of times I don't like to be the one to assign a job for an animal. I like to encourage the humans to figure out what it is. What do they do good? What do you notice? This is just where I'd say be curious about what they do, how they interact, and see if you can't. It could literally be, like Sebastian, comic relief. I mean, he's just funny. He's just a goofy, silly, funny cat. He's between 16 and 18-year-old now, so he's an old, silly cat. He's like an old man. If he could fart, I know he would. So, but maybe so Viviana, maybe find Charlie a specific role, but also look into the jobs and roles of Somerset and Joni, and maybe all together we can figure out where he's not doing that. But also, is someone annoying you, or are you annoying someone else? Is Charlie's behavior mirroring or mimicking somebody else's, where you might need to, what, Viviana, do you have a coworker that is an obnoxious pain in the butt that you don't know how to stand up for yourself? That could be what Charlie's trying to get you to do. Stand up for yourself at work and tell that jerk to leave you alone and get out of your face. Something like that. Or somebody at work who never takes it seriously and they're always screwing around and playing, and who has to clean up their mess? You do. So again, this is where you kind of look into, try to feel where it's going. Oh, she said someone is annoying you. Okay. So Viviana, this could be it. And this is where you say, Charlie, if you're trying to tell me this, then you can stop annoying the girls here, and I'll take care of, whoever at work.
That's awesome. Got one last one here. This is Lisa. Can you tell me if I should get a cat if I have anxiety or depression? Will it affect the cat?
So I would say, first I would say, would it affect the cat? It might, but it's probably going to affect you more than the cat, meaning if a cat comes into your life, they're probably going to help you with that. So the first thing I would say is, do you want to engage an animal in your life to potentially help you with anxiety and depression? And like I said earlier, and I'm not a therapist or counselor, but most therapists and counselors will say, anytime we deal with a lot of anxiousness, nervousness, it's because we're in the future. We're worried about what's going to happen, what's coming around the corner. Anytime we deal with the sad, blue, depression stuff, it's because we're living in the past too much. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that last night. It's living in the present moment. And as we talked about a little bit, cats and animals, they will help us live in the present moment. I see a tail. I see a tail coming across in front of Scott. So I would say, set an intention to the universe, your guides, your angels. If you've had previous animals, call them up and just kind of say, ancestral animals, I would love and invite an animal into my life if they could help me with my anxiety and depression. I invite them in. Now, once you do that, don't go looking for it. Let it happen. Because it's like if you've ever dropped something in the grass and you're looking for it, you never see it. It's like if you dropped a coin you're looking for the round coin, but what happens if the coin is on its side? You're going to totally miss it because you're looking for something specific. So just stay aware and open to a beautiful, loving energy coming your way. And this is where I say, the magic can happen because I feel like, you could get the perfect animal, probably a cat, especially with anxiety and depression. But yeah, and just kind of see what comes into your life. You'll know when you know. And
Yeah.
I'm almost 60-70% of my clients, as I'm reading them, especially when I'll say something like, this cat is showing me, this dog is showing me how they came into your life, and it's like it was bizarre. Or I'll say like, was it your husband who does not want a cat? Was the one who wanted this cat? And they're like, yes. Like, in that traditional hetero marriage, like the husband's like, I don't want a cat, I want a big dog. And the wife wants a cat. Well, all of a sudden the husband's like, we should get a cat. That's when you're like, okay, something's going on. Some cat's working its way into your life. So it's really cool how that happens.
That's awesome. Yeah, and my cat, this one doesn't usually climb up on my lap here, and he just did, and he has been so calm just listening to you talk, which is amazing.
Is that Milo?
This is Milo. Yes.
Yeah.
Sonny's fast asleep as well.
So do you mind if I say something about Milo for you?
Please, yeah.
Milo, he feels like, did he come into your life when you really needed to physically take care of yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally? Because I'm feeling a lot of self-care with Milo.
They both did.
Okay.
They both did. It was like within 2 months of each other, and it was right after my mom passed away.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So, and yes. So I feel like Milo is really there to encourage you self-care, taking care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, everything like that. So whenever stuff's going on in your life, look and see what Milo's doing, any shifts, changes, behaviors. And Sonny, I'm going to go back to Sonny. So much movement there, and I know we've discussed that, but there's a lot about movement. So Sonny is like, Sonny's a little bit of a risk taker, I would say too. So I would say,
he is.
Didn't you say he was hanging off the thing behind you, like literally?
Yes, literally hanging there, and he's
So
hung off the nerves, and he's just wild sometimes.
You need to hang off of cliffs or jump out of airplanes and parachute, but I really feel like he's encouraging you to take some chances in life. So yeah. So it's like, Milo, self-care, Sonny, a lot of taking chances out there.
That's great. Wow, I never thought of any of this. So, well, Mitch, thank you so much for being here with me, and I appreciate it. This has been absolutely wonderful, and so thank you. And do you have anything coming up on your channel, or and by the way, his channel is linked down below, and you guys go check out some of the great videos he has. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I see my website in there. If you ever want to get a reading, you can find me there. I also have what I call my tarot spread store. You can look through over 50 spreads. You purchase the spread, and I specifically record it for you and deliver it back to you in a YouTube video. It's unlisted, so only you can watch it. And I usually give you a lot of homework, like watch it 3 to 5 times and specific things to do each time you watch it. So you can definitely check those out as well. And Scott, thank you for letting me be here. Thank you for everybody here. It's good to see some familiar faces and our names out there. Jackie, Nancy, who else did I see? Yes, thank you.
Quite a few. Well, thank you again for being here. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you all, and we will see you soon. I will be with Mel Woolley Hermit at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time if you guys want to come back. And she's going to be reading Lenormand for the first time on a live, and I'll be doing tarot. And I brought my Chiro Marchetti decks, and I might have to use them. So I brought them and put them out for you, Mitch, just in case we had some readings. But they are out here. There we go. Got the Lenormand out.
That's the Lenormand one. I love the house showed up. That was one on the bottom.
Awesome.
The house and the mice.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
I love it.
All right.
Yeah. Right here, it was about 50 Chiro Marchetti decks. Right here on my...
Wow. Yeah. I'm sure
I have them all.
All right, guys. Thanks again, and we will see you soon. All right. Bye-bye.